It'll come right back. Don't worry. I think we're back already. Birkin. It's Birkin. Knight h6, castles, castles, e3. Yeah, e3 is a move that seems kind of lame, doesn't it? Don't you wish you had something better than e3? With white here? We'd like 10-minute follow mode, and I get that. So e3, restricting the bishop. It's not that bad. I mean, you can play b3 and like get the bishop out on a3. All right. So anyway, black plays e6 himself. I mean, e3 is not an unusual idea. Eventually, you always have to play it to defend d4. I just wondered if there's any way to approach this, any other way to approach this for white. I wouldn't even hate like taking the knight on h6. This is probably not that bad. Computer doesn't mind bishop takes h6 either. And Stockfish loves bishops. You know, it lives for bishops. I'm going to report that guy to Twitch and try to have his ISP banned or something. Like, his IP, ISP. Have his IP banned for, like, stalking me. Alright, bishop takes h6 is probably not a bad solution. Closed position. All these pawns on the board. I don't even mind trading this bishop on h6. It's another approach. Bishop f4, the engine suggestion. There's some questions about stability of that piece. You know, it can be attacked by like f6, e5 later on. Kidambi against Linderman 2013. I don't like h3 very much. That just looks stupid. Just weakening the king side for no good reason. Looks like one of your countrymen. I didn't mean to insult him, Tobias, but I think we could do better than h3. So bishop h6 is the second best move according to the engine. e3. Now e6, he just copied you. That's original. Bishop d2. You see here, okay, bishop d2 is, it's not bad. I think knight e1, knight d3 is like a typical maneuver. But maybe b3, bishop a3 is like the kind of most optimal development for the white bishop. e6, bishop d2, b6. So he actually goes for that. I wonder how long he's going to leave his knight on h6 though, you know. Here, queen a4. Okay, this is like an accelerated dragon idea. Queen a4, rook f c1, and then we can bring the queen back to d1 while the rooks remain connected. Because our queen doesn't have that many squares in this type of position, it might actually want to pull back all the way to d1. We walked right into bishop d7. That shows some flexibility on black's part in his thinking. You know, his ability to play b6 and then change his mind and say, okay, I'll put my bishop on d7. You induce some weaknesses over here, but I don't think it's that that's problematic, you know, for black. He can kind of manage that. Meanwhile, you're like forced to retreat your queen to this really, really bad square back to d1. It's pretty nice play by black. Pass pawn 99 is white, you know, so we're rooting for him, but it seems like black is playing this really well. Knight f5. This is controversial because once we play a3, it's making it more likely he's going to get a permanent outpost on c4. I think that's a danger in any kind of exchange Slav type structure, the first side to get an outpost on c4 is going to have a kind of guaranteed advantage. That's the one thing you don't want to do in this structure, is lose the c4 square. Give that up as an outpost. So knight f5, a3. I don't know what to suggest now for white. You know, I wouldn't mind playing b3, but we don't want to play a3 and lose c4. This doesn't look good here. And now we're this feeble city, man, and we're playing rook e1. We no longer have e1 for the knight maneuver to d3. We're reduced to playing like bishop f1 to try to control the c4 square. It's very subtle, but white is like now worse, you know. This is ridiculous. Why is he playing rook e8? I mean, it's like he's copycatting you, but with a bad move in this case. I don't even understand what rook e8 has to do with anything. In your case, you're like trying to defend c4, but he doesn't have the issue where he needs to play bishop f8 to like protect c5 or something. Rook e8 just seems like a kind of robotic move. He could play maybe like rook c8. Maybe this is fine. Still okay, it's symmetrical, it's not that easy. Rook c1, and now rook c8, and now bishop f1, as I said. Knight a5, hello c4 square. How are we worse in a symmetrical position after like 15 moves? It's surprisingly not that hard to do. I find symmetrical positions to be some of the most difficult to play, in fact. Can we play b3? Well, we're going to find out because he did it. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to make unnecessary pawn moves. I'm starting to wonder if like bishop f8 might actually prove something. I mean, has anybody else experienced that, what I'm saying? Some of the more advanced players, maybe, that they find playing symmetrical positions to be like sometimes the most difficult and frustrating? Backyards. They don't move backyards. And that's true. You can never ever take back a pawn move. Every time you move a pawn, you weaken your position. In this case, white has moved just one more pawn than black, and it's already having an effect, you know. These two pawns versus this one pawn, I think this is a slight effect. Black played a little passively with knight c6, respecting that knight on e5. And you grab the bishop, which is a bad bishop, but a good defender. Not such a bad bishop, actually. It has that diagonal. It has good defensive potential. In general, I don't like trading this like star knight on e5 for a kind of quote-unquote bad bishop on d7. While I was on Twitch, it was funny, though. I kind of like backyards. That was cool. And, you know, you don't want to sit here and necessarily play f4. Computer will probably like this move. Stockfish is a big believer in taking bad bishops with knights. Knight takes, queen takes, knight b5, and white's okay. I'm a little concerned about the e4 square. But black seemed like he was a little bit fearful. You know, I got that feeling. He had a good position, but he didn't really sense it, you know. And now all of a sudden, white is even better because the white square weaknesses. So this game like subtly sort of changed. Who was, you know, the advantage changed hands subtly, you know, and I think to the untrained eye, like a lot of people wouldn't even realize it was happening. The more advanced players, of course, do. But I mean, white was like worse, and now he's actually better. A lot of people say, oh, it was a draw all the way. No, I mean, I think that clearly both sides had significant advantages at different points now. White's space advantage might mean something with this b4. The two bishops, not that useful when you have 14 pawns on the board, as you see here. Thank you, Janice J. They drag you down to their level B with experience. That was the quote I was looking for. 10 minutes late. Thank you, Janice J. So what I'm trying to say with the bishops need open positions, open structures, imbalance in the pawns and stuff like that. So it's hard for pass pawn here to really use his bishops. Merle Dixon, good to see you. Nasty pin, but he's kind of holding it together despite that. Queen d6. How quickly can we threaten something here? Bishop takes. We can win the pawn on a7. That's our only shot now. We get our queen trapped. There's a kind of funny variation. Bishop c6, rook c6, rook c6, rook c6, queen a7. No, sorry. Bishop c6, rook c6, rook c6, queen c6, queen a7, rook a8, b5. And that actually seems to hold. So can we do this? Just try to pick off this pawn on a7. I mean, maybe black just has counterplay of a different nature, you know, like queen takes, queen a7. Man, this is kind of awkward because now rook c1 is a threat. Rook here, as I said, b5. Problemo. That I'm not liking for black very much. So if we can win a pawn here, I would vote for that. But what about rook takes c6, queen a7, and trying to get the rook down? Maybe this is for reals. You know, we got some real counterplay now. Black can just play b5 and maybe try to double on the c file. Merle, good to see you. Thanks, guys, for supporting the stream. Standing up against those trolls. So anyway, it's an interesting game, and it's an interesting moment to try to cash in on whatever advantage you have here by winning material. I think we need to very seriously consider this. So let's see what the engine says. The engine prefers his move, but it's got mine, you know, in the top lines. I have the feeling this is probably where it's at. Queen c6, queen a7, queen b5, even another way. Sack a pawn for some sort of activity. Yeah, okay. So basically, black gives up the pawn but gets enough compensation. So you did the right thing then. You know, you're not trading down. You got the c file now taking over the c file. b5 activates this bishop. I mean, it was more tempting to play like rook c2. Try to usurp control of the c file. I think he chose a weird square for his rook too, by the way, like rook b8. Like that actually might be a good place to put his knight, in fact. Not a great place, but a place. So I think both sides, you know, could play this better. Now you can't trade rooks and take over the c file. And then you killed your own bishop on a6. However, the inaccessibility of the c8 square actually, man, I mean, how serious is that? He's heading for the c4 square. There's also bishop f8, trading off your one remaining bishop. You guys get that? The one remaining bishop. Wow, this is pretty heavy duty. Queen d7 now? Yes. No, but it didn't help. He's got this move anyway. Maybe black needs to play queen d8 then. When in doubt, play queen d8. It's funny, I thought of queen d7 too, but... Bishop f8 followed by knight d6. I think you can lock it down with black. Taper off is not a troll, technically. All right. He's borderline. I agree, he's borderline. But he doesn't, you know, he doesn't go over the edge. Trolled him. Queen d8, he's relatively respectful. Queen d8, bishop f8, knight d6. I think black's going to hold on. Yeah. So queen d7 is like a massive waste of time. That seemed to benefit white slightly. h6, pretty random. No, I guess he wants h7. Okay, not random. Maybe it's forced. Other than the fact that it's forced, it's random. No, okay. I mean, he needs to do something, but this isn't good. The rook. Oh no. We don't really want to trade the bishops. Bishop c7? I mean c8, does that do anything? No. No. What is this? Like you're dead because your bishop's on a6? Very strange situation here. It looks like knight f5, I would assume, is coming next. I mean, on paper, you would think like white would be in deep trouble with the bishop cemented on a6. But it's actually kind of weird. You know, white does have some threats to create some vacuum for the king to penetrate, potentially. I'm not that certain that black is necessarily mental illness. What do you mean? Everyone here has mental illness. Why would we be watching like a chess stream? Yeah, the chess is a mental illness. No, just kidding. H3, knight d6. The engine likes black, but I don't think it's that simple, you know. He went very businesslike after the a pawn. That in itself won't win the game, though. It will if his knight gets to b4, huh? Oh no. I mean, this is our real threat here. Knight b4 and it's over. g5 check. And he just creates more symmetry. It's over. He doesn't have knight b4 though. He doesn't have this. What happened now? This is a resigns. White lost on time. It was an interesting game. I mean, it was crazy what you did to get your bishop fixed there on a6. But I admit that the endgame wasn't that simple, you know? Well, white, yeah, could be more aggressive with the king. Black could be more aggressive with the king too, but they were trying to keep the bishop like restricted over there on a6. But it's hard to analyze an endgame like this definitively in like 15 minutes. I mean, it's really, without the engine to just tell me all the moves, I don't know. I mean, my gut instinct is that black is clearly better once he gets the queens off the board and gets that bishop stuck on a6. Well, I would never leave my bishop like that, you know, but there are some weird positions where the white king could have gotten super active. Maybe he would have even been better if his king could have penetrated over here to the king side. All right, I'm not sure. But I know that one thing is sure, like white definitely had the advantage at a couple points there. But I think planning it out better, you know, not getting your bishop stuck on a6, and at the end of the day, maybe just penetrating on the c-file is not enough to win. This is why we have the principle of two weaknesses. You essentially need to create like a second front on the king's side. Like the c-file is one advantage, but it's just not enough to win when you have that kind of plus. So you try to create a second front. And with the two bishops, maybe some sort of expansion on the king side with the pawns, you could go for that. All right. It's a misunderstanding, absolutely. You misunderstand something. So that was past one. We got Jim, Nefedov, and Merle, and Zen Chess. So still 4 games. All right, guys, let's step on it. Jim submitted a game here. Where are you, Mr. Jim? Where is Mr. Jim? Mr. Jim, Mr. Jim. There you are. A weird game against Armenian IM during his simul. He was under tremendous time pressure. All right, where are you, game? Shenanigan, chess mood. All right. Jim, maybe they'll take the message. Jim is good at this b3 stuff. But I will tell you what I think, Jim. What I think is that you need to play other stuff. You're good at b3. It's a solid system, but I think that you should spread out your games with like a secondary system. Not to become too. It's like playing the London system every game. I think your view of types of positions that you see is going to be too limited if you only play b3 every game. Just my opinion. Bob's like, enough b3 already. My opinion is that you're not seeing enough different types of positions, and I think that you need to play at least another system. Merle Dixon, who plays the London system every game. Tell him, man. Tell him how it is. b3, f6. Okay? Pop Gellert, my friend. Pop Gellert, who was famous for this game against Zoltan Varga. Pop Gellert was white. He played f3, e5. I told about this game on my stream the other day. g4, queen h4, mate. This was Pop Gellert against Zoltan Varga. So I think that Gellert is playing for the same thing here. After b3, f6. His plan was obviously to answer e4 with g5, clearly. No. Alright, so b3, f6. So Gellert is the guy who I was talking about, like, against... I was talking about the guy who played against b4, e5, bishop b2, e4. He's a friend of mine. He's a strong player. He has one IM norm. Actually, he has a GM norm. And he has a lot of interesting ideas. But speaking of mental illness, Gellert has some instability. Alright. b3, f6, e3. Fine. I don't know what the best reaction to f6 is. I mean, objectively, what's the best move here? Difficult to say, you know? Maybe I'd do a double fianchetto. I have no clue how I would answer f6. Gellert won against this Portuguese guy in 2006. e3, d5. Well, I mean, one thing that I can say is that if you play a kind of Koley-Kaltnowski system, I mean, f6 looks kind of funky. If you get into almost like a mainstream d4, d5 Koley-Kaltnowski, what do we got? Another submission? Oh no, I'm really gonna like ban the guy on lichess too. Damn. Maybe they'll ban his lichess account. He's sending me messages now on lichess. Seriously, dude, that's like stalking. Okay, b3, f6. e3, d5, d4. So I think this is a reasonable approach. Maybe black should go for e5 now. I mean, while it's possible to play almost a form of the black Mardimer with colors reversed, might be worthy of consideration. Instead, he played c5. So you took on c5, but I would, you know, I think if I were white, I would stay within the realm of the Koley-Kaltnowski here and just knight f3 him. You got some good game. Good game. Anton Guijarro lost against Dobrov. That doesn't have to be about the opening, though. I mean, Dobrov's not a bad player. So, I feel like this move might be good, too. But it's also, like, giving up your strong point. So, e5. You want to kind of give him something to live for here. Like, something to play for. White gave up the strong point. Now, c4. Well, if I were black, I might just take on c4 here. How bad is that? Would that be like takes on c4, queen d8, king d8? I mean, how bad would this be? This actually doesn't look that bad for black. Just to play for a draw. But he's an IM, you know what I mean? Like, he wants to win. Even if his position sucks. He still wants to win. What's wrong with d takes c4? Is there something I'm missing here? Why is this so bad for black? Like this? This is not a big deal, is it? This can't be the solution. Computer's claiming a 1-pawn advantage for white here. That's a little bit big, but there are some holes. I mean, I guess it's possible. Still seems like a reasonable way to bail out. But okay. You're punishing him for f6, e5, c4. That was the kind of gutsy move. What's he supposed to do now? Like d4? He did a crazy move. Bishop takes c5, sacking a pawn. Okay, what compensation does he have here? I mean, this looks crazy. And this is a very fast time control, 5 + 10 and a simul, but it's just unsound. I mean, this is just unsound. This is coffee house gambit for nothing. The engine likes pawn takes. This is certainly not bad for white. And then, okay, now he's playing a form of like, whatever you want to call this, some kind of Albin style pawn sacrifice. I wonder if you should change your move order, do like knight c3 first, if it makes a difference. Try to get your knight to d5 as fast as possible. a3 is kind of hesitant, but okay, it's solid, giving him an awful lot of development. And now we're looking at knight d4. He doesn't play like the quintessential Armenian title player. You'd think he was like from Latvia or something. I mean, you think that all strong Armenian players are like Petrosian style. This guy like sacrifices pawns. Queen d5. Okay, queen f3, knight h6. He's definitely outstripping you in development now. It takes a timeout for a5. I'm more concerned about the d5 square. I think he's just like blitzing moves. a5 seems utterly ridiculous. It has nothing to do with what's going on. Knight ge2. What about your queen, dude? You're cutting off your queen. Spite your face. Castles. Knight d5. That looks good. Queen f7. Now everything's under control. As long as your queen doesn't get trapped. You just got a good game. He's going to try some sort of desperate piece sacrifice. Wow. I don't think I'm planning on castling queenside here, Jim. Beam me up. Nefedov's here, and we have Jim. So between Jim and Nefedov, we can have Star Trek Enterprise. Jim and Leonard. Dude, I just can't imagine castling queenside here. You're up a pawn, right? I mean, why? See, it's like, it's for fun, I know, but I'm playing a titled player here with white, and I'm up a pawn. There's no way I'm rolling the dice with castling queenside. I mean, I'm just castling kingside. I'm like, okay, dude, you're down a pawn for nothing. I mean, you got to prove something. Make him prove something. You know, if you castle queenside, you're just like totally randomizing the game. Nefedov, I was just talking about you. Leonard. Our new name for... Now he's right. Ready, dude. The guy is all about the counterplay now. Even if this is objectively good for white, it's like now complicated. You know? It was a very bad practical decision, objectively, to castle queenside. e4. Not sure how that works. It's the second pawn. Yummy. He likes bishops. Stockfish approved. Now what, like b5? You've actually got this in his face in some positions. Zen Chess, thank you. Now he's so confident that he's coming with the h-pawn. I mean, I guess you're justified now, but I mean, maybe you should just sit this knight on b6 while you got the chance. Just kind of ensure that b-pawn doesn't go anywhere, you know? The computer pointed to the other tactic, knight c7. Why does the bit amounts you can send go from 1 to 100? I have 90 bits. I don't want to push the button 90 times. It shouldn't, Zen Chess. You should be able to donate, like, whatever. Yeah, I mean, this gave him counterplay, so you didn't seal the deal. Although Jim has tendency to get in time pressure. Apparently, it's hard to see tactic here with rook takes d7. Check, pick off the rook. But at this point, I'm assuming white has time pressure. Actually, has 3 minutes. That's quite a bit for the simul player, not the simul giver. He has quite a bit of time. Now his endgame technique will kick in. The down 2 pawn approach. Oh no, that's a heartbreaking shot though. To simplify now, that just broke his back. He was just starting to become hopeful, but now he's like got no play without enough pieces on the board. He's gonna have to really, you're gonna have to just blunder to mess this up now. I would hack that off too. You did. Yeah, best. Although the a3 pawn, whoops, maybe I was wrong. I was just kidding about hacking that off. Shit. Although you are facing rook b3 and possible loss of the pawn anyway. Maybe, yeah, but your c pawn's hanging, so you had to do something. Maybe you had to. This is not so easy though. You don't want to lose that pawn. Have black like had an outside pawn with the bishop. Bishop a3 check. Wait, what about rook b3, rook a3? Wouldn't that be a little more reasonable? He's got 43 seconds though. Oh no, he's on the 7th. Okay, so but this isn't gonna like queen his a pawn. Actually, here maybe you should go toward the center and a good square on e4. I'm not sure. I don't know where you're going with rook d1. No, it seems like you gotta find a plan here. I don't know what rook d1 is about. You're not coordinating. You're not coordinating. My mouth is not coordinating when I talk. But I thought maybe putting your king on e4 was another possibility. Okay, it's easy to collapse against a strong player when you get nervous and low on time. But yeah, I mean, clearly you needed to play like rook b1. And now rook f3 check here, luckily. Or not so luckily, but anyway, this move holds on. That was a nasty little trick. Another trick. Oh no, he had to trade rooks. It's a tragedy. Now here, I mean, maybe he should play h5 and fix those pawns in the dark squares. Looks like the best shot. Is there any hope there if he finds this h5 move? He's still lost, apparently. You're just coming in. So he could have played bishop a3 to stop c5 physically. Then you play like g4 or h5 and start to put your pawns on white squares. But this isn't so easy. You know, I don't know. Maybe this isn't so easy. Anyway, so king c4 and he basically collapsed. Back and forth game, man. It was a fast game. I mean, 5-10 simul, that's a very fast game. Thanks for submitting, Jim. Thanks for supporting the stream. We've got a couple games I want to get through. So Nefedov, Merlin, Zen Chess. Okay, guys, we have just enough time. Basically 40 minutes for 3 games. Nefedov, Merlin, Zen Chess. Nefedov, where are you? Not giving me any choice. He's submitting a game he played against this guy who I never met before. KW Cheese. Alright, KW Cheese. KW Cheese is white. I don't know anything about him. He was born in the same country as me, apparently. D4, D5, C4, C6. C takes D5. So he's playing this KW Cheese, playing this variation I actually featured in a chess video quite a while ago, a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago now. There were some strong players playing this line with CD5, CD5, and Bishop G5. So Grishuk and Mamedyarov, these are very recent, but if you go back in time, these guys are jumping on the bandwagon. I mean, I was probably playing this in 2017. I can't remember who it is now. I mean, somebody was playing it back, let me see. The body's tricky. He's playing it circa 2013. That's a good guy to follow. Nabati is a really kind of tricky, well prepared. He has a lot of like interesting systems. I would definitely follow his games, but I'm not the guy I was trying to think of. H6. Maybe I even played this against you, Nefedov. Did I play this against you, Pavel, and you were prepared for it as a result of that? Very likely, right? Because you play the Slav all the time. We've had so many games. I probably prepared Nefedov for this game. Queen b6. Yeah, I'm not seeing the game I remember doing a video on. Was a stronger player than these guys. It wasn't Queen b6. It must have been f6. Yeah, this is it. Ryazantsev against Blomqvist. That was in 2017. Okay. So that was when I first noticed it. This is an amazing game, guys. If you want to check that out, Ryazantsev against Blomqvist. Oh man, it's crazy. It's just an absolutely beautiful game. Really insane, but it's a cool variation. So anyway, yeah, I played it against you. Okay, so Nefedov was prepared. He played h6, bishop h4, queen b6, which is apparently best. It looks a little pawn grabby, you know, but best is best. Here, Mamedyarov against Andreikin lost very recently, 2018. So let's see. Queen b6, and obviously, you know, sacrificing that pawn looks pretty logical. So he doesn't take, Nefi doesn't take, or he does. Okay, he does take. Queen b2. I mean, there could be some variations that are like draws by repetition or something in this kind of line, where Nefedov would be all right with that because he's playing black against a higher rated player, you know. Knight takes d5, e6. Okay, this is one of those. Like if you play knight c7 check, king d7. Wow, white is actually lost because of bishop b4. That's a nice little trap. So rook b1. Nikola Sedlak, another tricky guy. And my friend Viktor Mikhайловsky. Alright, rook b1. All tricky guys who are well prepared playing the system with white. I don't know, Nefedov, how well did you prepare this? You know, the Blomqvist game was actually interesting. Oh no. Well, anybody who would create like 10 Twitch accounts in like side of an hour isn't a troll. I mean, a troll, obviously. It's ridiculous. Queen takes b2. Yeah, I don't know. This feels kind of risky, Nefedov. Is there any way we can play this a little more safely? It looks like knight c6. Mikhайловsky has another game against Dinev, whoever that is. I'm just wondering if there's a more stable way we can play with black, but let's enjoy his game. Okay, so queen b6, knight c3. I'm not really into grabbing this kind of pawn, you know? Jim didn't want to be a mod. We asked him that already. e6, rook b1, queen a3. And now I remember looking at this long ago. Okay, queen c2. So Nefedov's very serious about his preparation of his openings and stuff. He doesn't mess around. He's obviously researched this, you know? Queen a5 check. And now white didn't know what to do anymore. King d1, Mikhайловsky against Laznica. I'm never sure how to pronounce that. I guess it's Laznica. But king d1. I'm wondering if we had the similar game, Nefedov. Did I do the same move like queen c3 like this guy? Didn't I do the exact same move against you? I mean, obviously, a very normal move to play, you know, in an unprepared situation. I wouldn't want to play king d1 if I wasn't sure about it. And so Nefedov basically now, what do we have? I would prefer if we were up a pawn for this lack of development that we're suffering from right now. Feels like white has a tiny advantage based on development. An a6, man, how many pawn moves can we make? How many pawn moves can we afford to make? I mean, I see the knight b5 as a threat, you know, but man, it feels like a lot of pawn moves. Nefedov has researched this with a computer. Nefedov, what's the final word on king d1? I think you need to let Stockfish run overnight on this. You know, you can't trust its evaluation. I mean, that's a long-term concession to leave the king on d1. You can't just say, okay, Stockfish says 0.1 after, like, analyzing for 30 seconds. This is a serious issue. Looks like Lasnica did his homework. So knight a6. Okay. Anyway, Nefedov can't mess with his preparation and his trainer, you know. But it's all, you know, the thing is, Bob, it's all in good fun and in moderation. Always talk about genitalia in moderation. E4 with a moderator. Wow, Nefedov just so well prepared. The IM couldn't take it. I thought I had softened Nefedov up for him, but apparently it wasn't enough. Nefedov bravely playing b5. Man, dude. He must have thought Nefedov was like an engine. He was screaming at his screen. This guy is an engine. Knight b4. Wow, that's just inconvenient. Now white is like, uh-oh, I'm going to lose the bishop pair. Take, take. This is like a weenie move. Drawing instincts start to come out. Nefedov has a slight weakness that he likes to trade pieces and play for a draw sometimes in superior positions. But I admit this is not that easy of a position to play. It's pretty imbalanced. Anything could happen. I don't even know what my move would be. I don't think it would be bishop e7. You know? But I'm not sure what I would have played. I probably would have like tossed my knight to f6 and been like, all right, whatever, you know. Wow. Understandable decision, you know. But it's a ghost piece. Doesn't do anything on this diagonal, just kind of hangs out. F3, castles here. Now all of a sudden his king is like in a Grunfeld. I was expecting rook d8, but then maybe has bishop c7. The dude missed a tactic with knight a4. Very natural, actually. Here, I mean, I know it's hard to play simultaneous. I should not criticize white too much. Nefedov was just hanging on. White overextended. Just isolate that pawn, Nefedov. Oh, man. It's even worse than we thought. I was expecting knight c3 now. Yeah, I don't know why. Man, Nefedov just taking him to task. Oh no, and he just like blunders everything. Knight d3 check. I resign here. And actually Nefedov had tons of time, but they both had 60 minutes to start. He didn't know the power of Nefedov. Now I finally gave up. That's what happens when you're a strong player with good preparation. Nefedov, all business. Black was at least holding throughout. Looked like maybe you were like a tiny bit worse at one moment at the most, you know. Really good job. Who is your opening prep trainer? All right. So Merle, Zen Chess. That's it. We're getting toward the end, guys. It's almost our last 30 minutes here. Merle, dear master. Thanks, guys, for supporting the stream, by the way. Dear master, please help the poor CCM. Candidate master understand what he did wrong in this quote-unquote instructive game. Respectively, yours in Zombieland. Yours from Zombieland, Merle Dixon. Lloyd Albino, what's up? Long time no see. Suvik is challenging me. Remember him? He's the guy that drew me in the closed Sicilian. What's up, Suvik? Well, we're doing game analysis today with subscribers. Merle Dixon. All right, let's take a look at Merle's game. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Is this the last one? We already did that, I thought. Which game is it supposed to be? Are they in order or something? Did you change the order of these games? It is the first one, okay. You're tricky and you like put it first in the study. Okay. That's our correspondence challenge. I don't do 3 days though. Unicorn 99, if you're watching, I'm gonna cancel this because I don't do 3-day correspondence. I just realized it's got to be at least 5 day. 5. Excuse me. Sorry. No. That was completely accidental. No, you know. No offense intended. If you are gay, I meant to say 5 days, but just came out the wrong way. Sorry, Bob. Embarrassing when you step on your own tongue like that. All right. Terrible. Suspicious against fictitious. Better to be fictitious or suspicious? I'm gonna start having a laughing attack. D4, it's Old Benoni, whatever that is. The made-up opening. Not really, that doesn't even exist. So our hero is candidate master fictitious, playing white. D4 C5. This is a great opening to play for a win, I think. Objectively, you know, seeding white is space advantage, of course. I like E6 being, you know, the more dynamic move. Black plays E5. I always tell the story of how Dvoretsky played this in a blitz tournament against me. One of the only like strong players I've ever had play this against me in any sort of like competitive game. I probably had like handfuls of blitz games and stuff otherwise. And once I actually studied this, you know, in most of the variations, I really like knight c3 here, with plans of playing like knight f3, knight c4, and grabbing space with a4 on the queen side. Maybe throwing a bishop b5 check or something. I really like this, and I think it's an improved kind of check Benoni for white. But against a weaker player, if you're black here, you're 2300 playing a fictitious 2000, probably a good opening. If you like closed positions, you have to like closed positions. Nefedov, not a one-sided game at all, but I think you proved something, you know, and he never really had an advantage. D6, G3. All right. This actually is interesting. Taking Merle out of his Londonderry, New Hampshire, his London system. You know, Merle, what are you doing playing D5 anyway? I mean, shouldn't you, as a London aficionado, do something like C3 here? I mean, isn't that the way the London players are supposed to play with white? It's this feeble like C3. I mean, really strong players who play London are going to have to adapt and play like D5, I guess. But the robotic London guys are going to have to play C3. Merle's changing. He's morphing into a real zombie. A monster zombie. So D4, C5, D5, E5, E4, D6, G3. I don't know, man. I mean, why do we play G3 here? You know, this is like another pawn move. This bishop already has a good diagonal. Do you want to play F4? Because, you know, you could play F4 right away. There's Dmitry against Florin Georgiou, but Dmitry played it twice. That's messed up. How do you get to play this twice? He got to play it against Nigel Short and Georgiou. But, okay, F4 is kind of justified here, but I still think it's like a violation of Nimzovich's principles to some extent, you know. If you lose this E5 square, I mean, you're going to be sorry. So, it's debatable, though. It's debatable. But I think the classic plan, knight c3, play it like a king's Indian for white, with as I said, knight here, knight here, knight here. Grab as much space on the queen side as you can. Try to trade the white square bishops. All right. Having said that, G3 is like, okay, whatever. You can do anything you want. You're white. Not my favorite move. He doesn't want anything to do with like bishop E5. That's understandable. A4, bishop E7. I remember once I lost to Serbian IM in a Czech Benoni where I played like F4 and he did like bishop H4 check. And I really wished I was like Viktor Korchnoi and I could just like walk my king over to the queen side or something and win. But I played too hesitantly in that game. It was also a Czech Benoni where I did like G3 against my previous training. You got to be prepared if you try to do something like F4, you know. He's going to drop a check on there. I mean, I don't know, you know, how it's gonna work, but bishop g2, bishop g5. Yeah, this is basically what happened with that guy. And I did like f4, and he like took, and bishop h4 check, and then I don't remember what I did. I guess I just like put my king on f1 or something stupid, and my king ended up being a target. So Merle doesn't care. He's not fazed by this. He just lets him exchange the bishop. But you're going to be careful that, you know, you don't end up in a position where he's got a good bishop against the bad bishop. The space compensates for the bad bishop, I guess. Knight e7, castle, castle, and then f4. This is where we need to think. I mean, if takes, you pretty much have to take with the pawn. And then we start calculating stuff like f5. What's actually happening there? So he does take, and you took with a knight. Wow. You got the bad bishop against good bishop, and now you're going to lose the e5 square. How many times have I told Asterbait, and Asterman came to my stream a couple weeks ago when I played the Czech Benoni, and the first thing Mark said was like, oh, the e5 square, yeah, you can't let him have the e5 square. This is like a very important thing. If you're going to play either side of a Czech Benoni, you basically have to know that this square is like the most important square on the board. And you have to maintain that outpost for black, and white is doing his best to try to get control. Real Grambit. What's up, Manas Palde? So oh man, the guy's back again. How can we like ban someone forever? Can we ban their ISP? The most ignorant troll I ever met, probably. That's why you're banned from my stream. All right, it's not that difficult to figure out. Like, you're just like trolling me by coming back. How could anyone be that ignorant? All right, I mean, the guy's not that vicious. He's just annoying, you know. And it's like 92, 95. This is like the 12th account he created today to come back again. That's crazy. That's got to be an all-time record. Dude, you're trolling right now, okay? You're trolling right now. You're doing it again. I asked you not to spam my chat, and you're just constantly doing it, and you don't stop doing it, and this is the last time. Maybe we can get your ISP kicked, or your IP, or whatever. Yeah, I don't know why you would think that. Bad conscience, Grambit. So 95, no, this is the mighty knight. Knight f3, that's not enough, you need another knight. Merle, of course, is the master of draws. So, we're just going to trade everything down and try to get a draw. That's the magic secret here. This guy played knight takes g6, though. Because he could probably hunker down with something like hg and just, like, hold, you know, for a draw here. I imagine this is kind of a drawish position. The white does have a protected passer here on d5. But I mean, in retrospect, of course, knight takes g6. Yeah, he's going to take with a knight. He's going to anchor the e5 square with the queen. Ideally, rook over here, and just take e5, hold it, and then be slightly better for the rest of the game. c3 here. There it is. e5 galore. I wonder now, though. I mean, maybe this is a moment now where black played a little too quick. You know, I mean, knight g6 isn't absolutely a great piece there. Of course, we know that. But maybe we should play this first. Bishop g4, try to trade the knight and keep like a good bishop, excuse me, good knight against bad bishop with bishop g4. I really hope that Twitch just bans this guy's IP at this point. You know, I have no bad feelings about it. You've been destroying my entire stream, dude. All right. I hope you're happy. So bishop g4, knight d2. This would be bishop g4. Sorry, what's he gonna play? I like this for black a lot. I'm kind of so afraid of bishop takes knight, you know. But a computer would probably hold a draw here. Interestingly, like bishop g4. I don't know. What do we do? Rook e1 or something, and then like bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, knight e5. If you took this and like you played like Stockfish against Tigran Petrosian, the original Tigran Petrosian, you know, I mean, black is better, but the bishop is a strong enough defender that it's probably like a draw, you know. Even though this is better, white still has some space. The computer will hold, Merle will hold the draw. So that's interesting debate, you know. How strong is the bad bishop really? And at the end of the day, you know, maybe black's feeling was that this was even better winning chances where he could play this kind of position and just remain with like good bishop against bad bishop rather than like, you know, monster knight that kind of blocks all your pieces against good bishop or rather bad bishop. It's getting hard to say this stuff. Anyway, guys, we're almost done for today. The troll-a-thon. It was a good troll-a-thon. Queen c2, knight e5, and then knight d2. The move that surprised everyone. Sometimes I call these like one square positions where you just dominate an outpost, but all your other pieces are kind of like blocked behind it. That's the irony of the situation. Black has the monster square, but it's only enough to kind of hold the line. You know, he's really going to have to find another advantage, essentially, in order to win the game. So this was a crazy move by the CCM fictitious, where 99% of players would have exchanged knights here. But he's like, no, I know more than that about chess. I'm going to let you keep your strong knight, and you can just be kind of blocked up behind it. But maybe here black made a mistake. I mean, maybe he should play b6 and not allow a5 to fix the pawns. This is a nice try, but I mean, objectively, I'm not sure it does that much. Now Merle reverted back. He's reverting, he said. He's changing. He reverted back to plan A, which is inconsistent. No one's perfect. It looks like black's better again. Pile up on Interstate 90. Although the inclusion of a5 probably helped white a little. Now we have a target. Oh, snap. That sucks. Counterplay again. Man, that's nasty. Oh, this is weak. Why did we not play b6 when he had the chance? Actually, that b6 move I suggested right here. I said b6, right? Allowing for the acerbate maneuver with the lateral rook. Or just rook b8 and b5, like a flowing b5. Black was a little more careful. You might be able to take out Merle. But anyway, he gets counterplay now. King f2, everybody's first instinct. Everyone's first instinct is to plunge the king out into the center. But he felt it was kind of important to probably protect his rook on e1. Objectively, black is still better here, I guess. That's the best you come up with. Black is a strong player, right? He's 2,300. But I mean, queen d8, what is that? Like an offer of a draw? Objectively? Queen d8 is just a surrender. Like, oh, I've got nothing. Now it's a draw. 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 Uh-oh, what about the H file? Maybe it's not so simple. Do we have to make this exchange and open the H file? I don't know, Merle. I'm a little scared, you know, that he can invade here along the H file. And we can't leave yet because of f5. This could be like principle of two weaknesses situation, you know, where white suddenly has two problems instead of one. Yeah, that's the good thing about the troll. I got a lot of new followers. Increased my followers by like 10 today. Okay, bishop d1, king g6, bishop c2. What about king g6? Why do we need to play that? Why not like rook h8 now? What's the point? Like we can just play king g1 and hold? So there's no easy way for black to actually penetrate on the h file. Is that the case? Let's see with the engine quickly. It's the best move. I thought like even maybe king g1. I think we can hold, although there's g4 rook h5 does look kind of scary. More than a little scary. The dude definitely had to try this, but he didn't. He didn't do rook h8. He's trying to set it up slowly, I guess. That's kind of scary, but one rook isn't going to cut it. He needs two, and he blocked his own rook maneuver with king g5. Ah, he realized. All right, check. Oh, you were better on g7. Right. Well, anyway, now finally the proverbial shit is hitting the fan. Now, oops, rook h1. All right. What's he doing with his king on g6? Why do you put the king on g6? Why not like keep it on a dark square and put it on e5 or something? Why does he want to put it on a white square anyway? It's so weird. Yeah, finally he comes to his senses. My God, now is white like better? Black is bailing out now. Holding on, barely. Now white just has like a space advantage. Nice. Playing for the win with king g5. Uh-oh. What, are we just winning the g4 pawn now? My God. It's a catastrophe. How could black almost lose this? Is there any chance of a draw? Oh, those pawns are fixed on white. That's probably not good. That's like a death knell. The pawns being fixed, like if they were on dark squares, maybe there'd be some way to hold this. You know, if literally all the pawns are on dark on the queen side, a7, b6, c5, d6, it might be holdable. Sometimes straight up bishop versus bishop end games, clear pawn down can be no way to get through with the king, but this is like a guaranteed loss for black. Yeah, no, Merle did a good job defending. You know, there's no way that black should have lost. Do we have a dedicated panda cam? The panda cam is dedicated, but I'm afraid that it's frozen. Pandas are actually jumping up and down right now. Okay, guys. No time to reset the panda cam. We only have 10 minutes for our last game. Zen Chess, tier 2 sub. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for being, for the most part, awesome tonight. This is my subscriber stream. I dedicate this to my subscribers. We focus on game analysis, getting serious, trying to improve. You know, my other streams are kind of more lighthearted and fun and challenging and whatever, but this is just for serious analysis. So thanks for bearing with me through the boredom some of you bullet players have to endure. No, but it's really a great stream. I enjoy doing the analysis, and I really don't do enough serious chess analysis as I should. Merle, you're welcome, man. Good game, though. You know, I mean, you could easily have won a game like this against me if I was in time pressure. It's frustrating to play that kind of position with black. Again, the key moment was really black not playing b6, right? Look how that actually lost the game in the end. All right, guys, Zen Chess, last game for tonight. League 45-45 game. Neidorf expert against Professor Moriarty. Well, let's sit on the side of the master. All right. The evil Professor Moriarty playing white. I've read, like, just kind of random. I've read, like, every Sherlock Holmes story. Just not a huge fan of Arthur Conan Doyle, but what the heck, you know? You get bored sometimes. And, you know, it's not like high literature, but I know all the stories. The evil Professor Moriarty. e4, c5, knight f3, d6. The Neidorf is coming, and well, I played bishop g5, which is, you know, it's like the biggest variation traditionally in the Neidorf theory with the poison pawn and stuff. But it's not very trendy in the last 20 years, you know, compared to other lines like bishop e3. You know, occasionally you see the Nesbedinov games where like black played knight on bd7, some crazy attacking games with sacrifices on e6 and stuff. But for the most part, e6 is standard. F4, and now black, you know, of course, you see the poison pawn the most. I don't know what the current status is of theory of that. It's certainly the sharpest move for black. Fischer, of course, you know, stood by the poison pawn. I look at the statistics. That's all I can do. White has 24 to 18 in master level games there on the lichess Opening Explorer. It doesn't have all games, but it's fairly, and at that point, when you get 6,000 games of master chess games, your statistics are going to be fairly reliable. I mean, that's a very solid sample size of a major theoretical variation. So, pretty well worked out. The drop-off is notable, though. Like, bishop e7, now white's score is up to 39%. There's something wrong with that. And then knight on bd7 is better. Queen c7 is, like, better. Queen c7 actually has 50%. That's kind of frightening. I mean, 1,457 games, and black has 50% with queen c7. So I'm a believer in statistics, not necessarily chaos theory, but statistics. So h6, okay, I don't know anything about this. This is like a pseudo. We get like a pseudo poison pawn after this. I've seen this somewhere. I'm afraid to play the Najdorf. I have been all my life, so I'm not enough of a human being that I have the courage to play the Najdorf. I basically bailed out in 1986. But it looks like you're supposed to go for the gusto here with Queen b6, and I have seen, yeah, Bashar Legrave is the man when it comes to 21st century Najdorf, I guess. All right, but if you don't know it, you don't know it. It looks like bishop e7 is passive, but you got to play something, right? Knight on bd7, castles queenside, queen c7. You know, obviously this could transpose to h6 at a later date, which is probably what happens here at some point. And now g5. So black fights for the e5 square. There was a tournament, I remember, like 30 years ago or whenever, 25 years ago, in South America. I guess it was in Argentina. There was this like Najdorf Memorial where the whole tournament was dedicated. I'm saying Najdorf Memorial. I meant Pulugievsky Memorial. The whole tournament was dedicated to the Sicilian, and you had to play the Sicilian. It was like a thematic tournament. And one of the things I remember from that was like one of the things from that is like the fact that you've got lots of games where black basically got control of the e5 square for the pieces. That's the strategy here. Even if we have to sacrifice a pawn, just gaining total control of e5 in these Najdorf lines is so important. I mean, I can't explain all the theory to you here, and I don't even know it, but the main idea I can understand, you know, and black will do anything he can to get absolute control of the e5 square as an outpost for their pieces. Similar to what we talked about, you know, we can talk about in concepts, similar to what we talked about in the e5 Czech Benoni game. So I assume that Zen Chess knows the theory here. We're still in book. Knight fg4, bishop g3. It looks like there were other moves, though. Let's see what statistics say. This is good. So this is never played. Moriarty left the building with bishop g3, a very rare move. And again, you probably have to run an engine overnight to really get a really good evaluation. Ambulance is coming for white's position. But Stockfish likes bishop g3 after thinking for 30 seconds. It doesn't mean that much, but it's certainly not a bad move. Notable. So bishop g3, only played in 8 games. None of them in the last like 10 years. pretty strange. There's such a playable move that's like practically Stockfish's first choice. It's only played in 8 games. I mean, I guess the thing is it just gives the pawn back. H3. Wow. Sabo Laszlo against Walter Brown. This was in San Antonio in 1972. I think I have that tournament book somewhere. Very famous tournament held in Texas. And I know Lajos Portish, and we talked about it. And Lajos had a funny story about that tournament where Fischer... was it that tournament? 1972? I don't want to lie to you guys. Was this San Antonio 1972? I'm thinking of a different tournament, possibly. Yeah, I'm probably lying to you guys. The San Antonio was a different year. It wasn't 72. It was later. I'm sorry, guys. But anyway, it's just a random game between Sabo Laszlo and Walter Brown. Sorry for the inaccurate game, year, and place. He was talking about San Antonio 75. Sabo didn't play in that tournament, I don't think. But how Fischer like secretly went to the tournament to watch, and Portish was the only player who identified him. Anyway, knight f6. Brown is a huge expert on the Najdorf, you know, so this is kind of interesting to see him play like a legend like Sabo in 1972. It's like the #1 Hungarian player, probably ahead of or around, you know. Maybe he was already, Portish was probably stronger by that point, I guess, in 72. Sabo was old already. Knight f6, he was a Hungarian legend. I live in Budapest, so I have to be respectful. Bishop d7, what is this position now? Modern games. Another Laszlo Sabo game with black in the same year. That's messed up. The same year. We're still following book. Some sort of book. Very few games. Notice how Blake controls e5. He maintains control against Professor Moriarty. Vladimir Baklan, strong grandmaster. We're finally leaving book here with novelty. Bishop takes f4. Random guy against Baklan. Played queen d2. But engine says that bishop takes f4. Alright, so Zen Chess is finally out of book at move 20. We're on our own, though you might find some random game. And then knight d4. But I like black. I like the control of e5. I like the bishop pair. But at the same time, the white king is still safe. So Laszlo Sabo makes me think of a game he lost against Leonid Stein, who was a great Sicilian player with black. Sabo lost similar structure game against Stein, very famously. So I want to castle queenside with black here, and then invade down the H and the G files if possible. Spring Festival in Hungary. Yeah, there's a very strong tournament coming up, but you're talking about Elephant Bush like informal chess in Budapest. There's not that much. You know, if you're talking about like a tournament, there's a very strong tournament coming up in April, like an open tournament here in Budapest, the Spring Festival. But as far as like informal places to play chess in Budapest, I don't really have any great suggestions. Bishop f6, king b1. I was talking about this in an earlier stream that, you know, Budapest sadly doesn't have that like cafe chess scene the way that some American and maybe like Western European cities have. Like, you know, I imagine France or something. Knight g6, taking control of the dark squares. No, I mean, that's the thing. You got the Jolly Joker that my friend Emil calls it. It's the unopposed bishop that's worth 4 points of material. There's just no dark square bishop on the board, and white has all these pawns. Almost every single pawn is on white squares with no control of the dark squares. So this bishop has the potential to just destroy white's position. The question is getting enough value for that. You know, you want to get your 4 pawns. Online would be a good suggestion. Wow, b5. I guess we're not going to necessarily castle queenside right away. Bishop b3. Yeah, I would have played a kind of more reserved way, but this looks alright. He traps the knight on a4. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's inconvenient. The white knight doesn't have another good place to go. And you got no knight d5 sack. Really good job. No, Zen chess we know plays the Najdorf well with black. So now white just completely desperately sacks a piece. I see queen g4 with a double attack, but then you've got knight f8. So it looks like white's going to get at most... Well, actually, d6 is kind of sketchy. So this is going to get a little scary. I also see like bishop takes a4 and queen e5 at some moment with a mate on b2, but how are we going to organize that? I also would have played f takes e6. Apparently the computer likes bishop takes e6. Tough to play that. I mean, the bishop looks like a good defender, at the same time protecting and also attacking a4. No, I think this move is much better. To the untrained eye, you know, I also would have played f takes e. And now queen e5. Sneaky mating threats, but it's going to be inconvenient when white plays bishop takes a4 check. Queen d2, and here rook d8, just defending everything. And this was a 45-45, I guess 45-45 league. Tripling up on the d file. Castle. Castle's not going to work. Oh no. I don't think we're going to play bishop takes a4. Guys, it's the end of the stream. I've got to go. Steam Express. I call him Steam Express. I can't talk. Stream Express. You like to make alcohol. I have a glass of homemade rum. 80% raw alcohol. The pandas here. Fueled by 100% alcohol. Alcohol-fueled pandas. Find it here only in Budapest. I like to get the animals at the zoo drunk. Now we're done, guys. Good to see you, Stream Express. Rook d1. We visited the zoo last weekend, so bad influence. This is a nice move. Knight f8, protecting d7. And white tried something. The engine sacked its queen now. Zen chess naturally, you know, didn't want to part with material, so he reacted with like a mundane move, which was a blunder. Apparently you can sack the queen. Queen takes d6. This is hard to see, you know. And take here. That's really scary. I mean, white has all those scary pieces in your face. If it's a fast situation. But actually, he had a lot of time here. Look how much time they have. 18 minutes, 25 minutes. Really, Zen chess has tons of time. You know, he could have worked this out better. Zen chess played a little too quickly. There's a lot to calculate around there. And this is kind of getting a little bit murky now. I guess this was a blunder. I think you guys need to play this better tactically. I mean, considering how much time you both had here, 45-45, you're playing like it's a blitz game. Both sides, major tactical mistakes. This is ridiculous to leave the back rank weak, you know, when he's got still like 10 minutes left. No reason for that, you know. Some people have a hard time playing like long games online. I can understand that, you know. If you're not used to it, you know, it's difficult. When I played all my life like 7-hour, 6-hour tournament games, it's not that hard. But I can see how some people just can't really play these long games and take their time. But this is really unnecessary to leave the back rank completely wide open there, and obviously it's a problem with the back rank weakness. There goes the Jolly Joker, and there goes the back rank. And one last desperate try. Wait, where's the mate? I don't see it. Queen e7. Wait, there is no mate. That's kind of funny, though. Eternal Sunshine, my only suggestion is to just try to behave yourself and not spam my stream. You know, that's all I'm asking, man. Behave yourself and don't spam the stream. So try to respect. Queen e7, rook takes b2 check, king c1, and queen takes c2 mate. Well, it was kind of an aesthetic finish, and it was a funny game, Zen chess. But I think that both you guys could play better, much better tactically. I mean, you both have like 10 minutes left. You know, that's a lot of time. So I think time management here was massively important. So Zen chess, both sides guilty. What do you got? Like 100 cent upon loss? Just 36, not too bad for Zen chess. Despite 4 mistakes, he made no blunders. Professor Moriarty, one fatal blunder. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We'll be back on Sunday with our simul. It'll be 6:30 p.m. on Sunday for 25 players here on the stream. I'd like to thank everybody for watching and subscribing, for donating. Jim leads the donations this week with 600. Merrill Dixon with 502. Alms on Twitch with 501. Never Otter Even, Big Money, T-Dark, Zen Chess, Nils, Coward Pawn, and someone on sound, as well as Acerbate and everybody else. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. Della Corda gets one in there as well. Thank you guys so much. So from the Pandas and myself, thanks for joining me. We'll be back again on Sunday. Donation from Della Corda for 100. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's always fun to do like some serious analysis instead of just, you know, playing like meaningless blitz games. It's rewarding. I don't have enough chance to like analyze on my own what I should, the amount I should. So this is kind of a substitute for me. Okay, guys, I'll see everybody on Sunday. Take care now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you on Sunday, if you dare.